Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, October 25th, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. Early Wednesday morning, emergency crews responded to a gas leak at the Avalon Bay apartment complex on Lenox Street. The fire department released this statement. Shortly after the 8 a.m. shift change on Wednesday, Group 1 was alerted to a struck high-pressure gas line on Lenox Street at the new Avalon Bay apartment complex. Engine 4 arrived on scene, confirmed the leak, and stood by in case of ignition. The latter company began evacuations of the neighboring buildings while Engine 2 laid a supply line from a nearby hydrant. The leak was mitigated within an hour and the building was metered so residents could safely re-enter. While crews were committed to this scene, a Walpole engine provided coverage for the town. Also Wednesday morning, a huge milestone was achieved in the construction of the new Skating Club of Boston facility on University Ave. Various town employees and board members, along with representatives from the Skating Club of Boston and the construction and design companies, were on site for the topping off ceremony. All guests on hand were invited to sign the beam, and after a short ceremony, the beam was put into place. Vice President of Marketing and our on-site correspondent, Maureen Rystrom, caught up with a few of the guests on hand.
And now joining me is Norwood Chairman and Selectman, Mr. Paul Bishop. Thank you, Paul.
Good morning.
From what I'm told, this is the biggest thing in Norwood since the high school.
Yes, it is. You know, there are some people who have a comment that the town of Norwood is actually the crown jewel of the Commonwealth. If there is a crown jewel within the town, it's going to be this structure right here.
That's great. So what is the one thing you're looking forward to most about this project?
To get it completed and get it moving forward.
Great.
It's going to be a great economic engine for the town of Norwood. There are people lining up to buy properties in the area. One gentleman's already planning a hotel in the area, and I want to see more hotels, more venues, more restaurants to accommodate not just people in the town of Norwood, but nationally and internationally.
And now joining me are my colleagues at JCNA, Executive Vice President and Partner Steve Roback, and Site Superintendent on this job, Todd Casilli. Steve, we just put the last beam in place up here on this project and celebrated the topping off ceremony. Can you tell us a little bit about what a topping off ceremony means?
Well, it signifies the completion of building of the structure. So we've completed the underground foundation that's supporting the structure that you see here today. And it's also signifying that we've got to the top of our structure. And that leads to ultimately us starting to enclose the building so that we can start working on the inside, tight from the weather, to bring the building to its final completion.
That's awesome. Todd, so this was a major milestone. We had the ice breaking back in May. We have the topping off ceremony here today. What can our viewers be on the lookout for in the next couple of months?
In the next couple months, we'll be very busy. Tomorrow, we're actually pouring the second floor mezzanine slab. In the middle of November, we'll be pouring the first floor slab in Rink 1. So over the course of the next month, we're going to be really closing the building up with glass and panels and roofing. So there's a lot coming up in a short period of time.
To stay up to date with the Skating Club of Boston construction, visit www.thenexthundredyears.org. Stay tuned after this break for a full recap of last weekend's numerous town events.
Stop by the Norwood Morrill Memorial Library and check out magazines, newspapers, DVDs, and of course, books. The library also offers a variety of services, including passport renewal, a notary, and tutoring, with multiple different meeting rooms which can be booked for your convenience. Take advantage of online digital resources and get assistance with all of your research needs. Kids can enjoy the children's room stocked with books and toys. There are also a variety of programs for children and adults. And if you can't make it into the library can come to you with home delivery. The library is open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and on Fridays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. To learn more, go to www.norwoodlibrary.org.
Welcome back. One of Norwood's most popular town events took place last weekend, the Craft Affair. On Saturday, the NHS gym was filled with handmade designs and pieces of art.
So we're here at the Craft Affair at Norwood. It started in 1994. It was the brainchild of two teachers here at Norwood High, and they thought to include many clubs and teams and groups to help, and that continues to this day. This morning, the varsity cheerleaders and the freshman football team helped unload all 90 crafters that you see here today, unloaded all their stuff that's very unique to our fair. We have 90 spaces, as I said, and people were still calling me yesterday asking if they could sell their things at our fair. Another unique thing about our fair is everything here is handmade. Nothing can be manufactured or bought somewhere, and everything here is just amazingly creative and beautiful.
Hey, I'm Christine. I own CDM Signs. We're out of West Roxbury, but I'm actually a 2011 graduate of Norwood High, which is what brings me back to the Craft Affair. I started making these signs probably about 2 years ago, and what I have is something called a CNC machine. So I basically plug in the design I want on my computer, attach it to the machine, and then it cuts out whatever I want. So I went down the vineyard a couple years ago, and I wanted some motivation to end up moving there one day, so I made an Entering Edgartown sign, and I put it on Facebook, and it just kind of took off. So they're made out of kind of like plywood. It's called MDO. I hand paint all of them.
Also on Saturday, the Old Parish Cemetery volunteers hosted a Women of Old Parish walking tour. Residents were guided through a tour of the cemetery to learn all about the historical women who were buried there.
Hi, we're at the Old Parish Cemetery in Norwood. This afternoon we just completed a tour about the women of Old Parish Cemetery. So we've decided that we like to give a tour every fall, and this fall we decided that women had been sort of overlooked in the past tours. So the entire tour was about different women who had been important residents in South Dedham and Norwood and are buried here at the cemetery. Their stories ranged from very quiet lives to being murderers and epidemic victims and all sorts of interesting stories. Well, the Old Parish Cemetery is a spot that a lot of people still don't realize is here in town. It's behind 480 Washington Street, sort of between Washington and the railroad tracks. It was founded in 1741. We have a group called the Old Parish Preservation Volunteers, and we come about 5 Saturdays in the spring, 5 in the fall in the mornings, just to clean up the stones, to reset stones that have tilted or are badly in need of repair or resetting. And if anybody wants to volunteer, they can certainly do that. We'll be here on October 26th and also on November 2nd. We also are usually open on Memorial Day, Veterans Day, 4th of July, so that people can come and walk through. Anytime we're working here, people can come and walk through, and it's really the oldest historic site in Norwood, and a very important site.
Then on Sunday, after a great start to their season, the marching band continued their winning ways with a perfect score at Micah Festival this past weekend. The band performed their set for the audience and judges.
Today was the Massachusetts Instrumental and Choral Conductors Association Southeast District Marching Band Festival. We've been hosting this here at Norwood for long before I ever became a band director, some 25 plus years ago. It is open to anyone that wants to register for it. Today we were fortunate when we had 9 bands joining the Norwood Band. We had a great performance. This was a season best for us this year. It was a moment where finally everything came together for us, from a color guard, drumming, percussive, winds and brass, and an effect situation. It was just it was our season's best, and it's a performance that we've been chasing all year long, and we were excited that it showed up here for the home crowd in Norwood.
At the same time as the marching band was performing at the high school, community members gathered at Endine Park for a Halloween trail walk to help spread the word for all the great walking trails in Norwood. The groups running the trail walks were the town's Trails Advisory Committee and Impact Norwood. Tune into NCM for information on more events like this. Stay tuned after this break to find out what is happening in your local government.
Hi guys, I want you to know that the Norwood Rec Fall and Winter Program Guide is available and registration is now open. This guide lists all the programs and events offered by the Rec Department that will enhance your quality of life and promote physical, mental, and social well-being. It was mailed to over 10,000 families and is available at the front desk, town hall, and online. There are programs for all ages, so please sign up and take advantage of one of Norwood's greatest assets.
Welcome back to Norwood News. Monday night, the Planning Board met in room 24 of Town Hall. The meeting began with a sign of approval for Norwood Pharmacy. Discussion then ensued to increase the number of parking units for the overlay district on Day Street. The end of the meeting concerned the open seat available on the Planning Board. After reviewing nominations, the board voted to add its newest member.
We'll go, the first nomination was Nora Zaldivar. I'm probably pronouncing her last name wrong, but Nora, I know her as Nora. So all those in favor of Nora, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's 2. Okay. The second nomination was Brian Hatchie. All those in favor of Brian, say aye.
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 3. Brian Hatchie, come on down.
The Board of Health convened for their monthly meeting on Tuesday morning. Aubrey Seall of Impact Norwood gave an update on their search for student ambassadors for their trip to Washington, D.C., and Sigal Reese gave an overview of the recent flu clinic and progressions of vape product ban. Along with the director's report, Reese announced that the next public flu clinic will be held on Monday, November 4th from 6 to 7:30 at the Health Department in Town Hall. Tuesday evening, both the Board of Selectmen and the Trails Advisory Committee held meetings. The Board of Selectmen met with Chief Brooks to review his monthly report and meet the department's 2 newest recruits, Officer Justin LaRoche and Officer Sean Jennings. Their field training officer, Rick McGowan, was also in attendance. Fire Chief George Maurice also submitted his report, reminding citizens that the end of daylight savings is near.
The last thing is, as we all know, every year, the end of daylight savings is Sunday, November 3rd, coming up in a few weeks. So we always say, do not forget to change your clocks, change your batteries. The old style smoke detectors have removable batteries, usually 9 volt. So while people, if you think of it, when you're changing your clocks, check out your smoke detectors and replace the batteries and make sure that they're working correctly.
The board held a brief public meeting with the Skating Club of Boston, who submitted an application for a VIF, or Volatile Inflammable Fluid license, for heating equipment to be installed at the job site. The application was approved for nothing. Finally, the board met with Mary Paz, a resident looking to be appointed to the Cultural Council. After Mary spoke of her credentials, the selectmen unanimously appointed Ms. Paz to the council. The selectmen meet again Tuesday, November 5th. The Trails Advisory Committee also met Tuesday, celebrating the success of their community walk. The advisory committee also discussed the acquisition of the East Walpole Cemetery, which was accepted as a donation at the special town meeting held last week. Wednesday, the school committee tackled a packed agenda full of presentations and appearances. The meeting began with representatives from Chartwell Food Services to provide an update on the year's highlights, including receiving a very prestigious award.
Suggested that this box had cookies, which is unfortunately not the case.
Darn.
Kind of a little surprise, but last year, for those of you that were at the meeting, you may recall my regional vice president came to the meeting to announce that Norwood had been selected by Chartwell's as a regional account of the year and also the national account of the year. So we have a program within the company called Be a Star, and we submit nominees, regionally and in individual districts. And we have a really proud team here that really like to tell their story and do a great job with it. And Norwood was again selected as the regional account of the year this past summer at our meeting. So we have another piece of glass to put in the office, and it was a really nice recognition, and I'm really proud of the team here. And we couldn't do it obviously without the partnership that we have here in the district. So this is our award collectively. So thank you for this.
Donna Brown appeared to update the committee on the Callahan School's efforts for fundraising a playground for the school. Diane Ferreira and Nancy Coppola gave their school improvement plans for the Balch and the Cleveland, and Dr. Wyeth gave his presentation on MCAS scores and the accountability system. The next school committee meeting is Monday, November 4th at 7:30 p.m. Also Wednesday night, the Finance Commission met in the Police and Fire Community Room. John W. Coderre, Northborough Town Administrator, came before the Commission for a presentation on financial trend monitoring. After the near-hour presentation, the committee looked over long-term agenda items. The next Finance Commission meeting will take place in the coming weeks. For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break to find out what is happening in your schools. Welcome back. Now we're going to toss it over to our Norwood Schools reporter to recap everything that has happened this week in the Norwood Public School District.
Hi guys, I'm Rory Kerr, and let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. It's been an exciting week at the Prescott School. Students love having science specialists Miss Lockwood and Miss Sullivan deliver hands-on, exciting science lessons that is then followed up by the classroom teacher. This past week, Miss Healy's 5th grade class examined how the design of wind turbines impacted their ability to catch wind and create power. Students collaboratively planned their designs, tested the designs, and then made adjustments. This is a great activity in perseverance and engineering design. Mr. Riley, Miss Miller, Miss Boulay, and Miss Bishop had a great time at Massachusetts Computer Using Educators annual conference at Gillette Stadium. They engaged in conversations with their peers from around in the state and beyond around how to introduce exciting and new learning strategies for their students at the Prescott. They discovered new applications for our Chromebooks and iPads, and even how to take problems presented in literature and turn them into an engineering activity in language arts. They even snuck onto the field and got a picture before Tom Brady came out for practice. It was a great day all around. Norwood High School and the Norwood Police Department partnered and had an assembly on mental health first aid. Officer Greg Shore created a 90-minute interactive presentation for 9th graders about how to recognize the signs when someone is in a crisis and the appropriate resources that are available. The social and emotional safety of all our students is a top priority, and thanks again to Officer Shore. It's not just a month. The Cleveland School community wore pink last Friday to support breast cancer awareness. This is a worldwide annual campaign taking place in October, involving thousands of organizations, to highlight the importance of breast awareness, education, and research. The Cleveland PTA kicked off their Fun Run campaign with a pep rally on Friday. This year's theme is the Wild West, and students would learn about positive character traits as part of the fundraising initiative for a school-wide field trip. On Tuesday, October 29th, every grade level will participate in a 30 to 35 lap run. Jumping and dancing are included. Yee-haw! Willett kindergartners were treated to a presentation by Jim Parsons from Wingmasters. The students learned all about owls that are native to the Norwood area. The students learned about owl habits and special skills, including nocturnal hunting, excellent camouflage, and silent flight. The students were able to meet a screech owl, barred owl, great horned owl, and a special guest star, falcon. The students and staff would like to thank PTO Enrichment Coordinator Mandy Hampton for bringing back this annual favorite. The 2nd grade at the Oldham has been having a great time learning more about how the eye and ear functions, using different tools to explore. In one experiment, students used a tape measure to measure each other's specific body parts and record measurements. The students then talked about what patterns they observed. In another experiment, students used mirrors to demonstrate the operation of the pupil and determine their own eye color. The students then created an eye color graph which displayed the 3 most common iris colors, blue, green, and brown. In another fun experiment, students recognized that sound is produced by vibrating objects, with the use of tuning forks to demonstrate the relationship between vibration and sound. If you were driving by the Savage Center on Wednesday night, you may have heard the sound of the Little Mustang preschoolers singing and dancing their hearts out at the 2nd annual Music and Movement Night with Principal Mrs. Robbins. Children and their families were invited to come dance and sing with their friends and families and then tour their classrooms. Mrs. Robbins opened the evening by taking some requests from the audience. The children sang some favorites like 5 Little Pumpkins and 10 Little Mustangs, and then she taught the children some listen and move activities that incorporated coordination and motor planning practice. She also wowed the crowd when she took out her trumpet to play a little Name That Tune. Music and movement is an important part of early childhood development. When children are engaged in music activities, they are developing skills such as language development and social interactions. Also, tapping, clapping, and moving to a beat teaches a child rhythm and cadence while learning new words, and also how to move and sing at the same time. This is not as easy as it seems for these little ones. It looks like everyone had a great time at the Little Mustang Preschool. Next year, they might need to hold this event at Gillette Stadium to accommodate the sellout crowd. And finally, in extended day news, over 20 teachers attended a Saturday morning training at the Savage Center. The workshop, hosted by Charlie Applestein and Chris Capizio, discussed how teachers can best address challenging behaviors through strength-based approaches. Teachers left the workshop feeling rejuvenated in their classroom practice and developed a deeper understanding on the impact of trauma on child development. Many commented the district could benefit from hosting this training again in the future for all instructional staff. Well, that's it for school news. For more information about the Norwood school system, please check the website, Facebook, and watch NCM. Now let's go to Brian Dunn for the latest sports news.
Hello everybody and welcome into the sports update for this week. The season is winding down for some, but this weekend is an important one as we await the futures of both the field hockey and football team. Field hockey is officially in the tournament, but we won't know for certain football status until the end of this weekend. Seniors were recognized this week, so let's check in with the athletes and the scoring update. Let's take you back to last weekend and what really was a must-win game for the Mustangs to stay in the playoff hunt against Medfield. Norwood went down early, 14-3 in the second quarter, but the Stangs found a way to crawl back to 14-10 at halftime. From there, it was all Mustangs, specifically the defense, as turnovers gave the Mustangs the momentum they needed to hold off the Warriors. Tie game late in the fourth quarter, Stangs had the ball with a winning touchdown in mind. Jason Dennehy went to work with great reads and clock management, and Bryce Ganks took the handoff in for the game-winning score to give Norwood the 27-20 victory over Medfield. Coach Manny Lopes breaks down the game for us.
I don't know. It's that these games are stressful, right? It was nice to have our kicker back. Anthony DeMera had another great game. I think he kicked 3 field goals today. I think it's this field. Our kids are never out of a game on this field. Our defense stepped up when they needed to. I think we caused 6 turnovers, including special teams. Went down the field with a minute left. Just an amazing game all around. Being down 2 scores is tough, right? And so we got them. They finally came back, and I talked to them at halftime. I said, gentlemen, play your game. There's nothing that they're doing that we're nervous about. There's nothing that they're doing that we can't come back on. Play the football that we've taught you to play since day one. We started out here in August, and we just keep reiterating, play our game and we'll be fine. Play our game and we'll be fine. And we went out, feasted in the second half. It was just great. We said, I walked right over to Coach Grant and said, Coach, we have 3 timeouts. Minute 40, I think, or it might have been 2:01. We have plenty of time, plenty of timeouts. We don't have to chuck the ball. Let's run it a little bit. We ran it on first down. Quick out on second down, got out of bounds, got the first down. It was Jason Dennehy's game is, as long as he's playing his game and reading a defense and throwing short, he's good. He can chuck it downfield if he has to, but play his game. Take what they give you. Coach Grant says it all the time, take what they give you, take what they give you. Past couple of weeks, Jason's been letting it rip a little bit. We peeled it back. He played his game today. He played great, tucked it and ran when he had to. Kid's just a great athlete and a great leader.
Monday, field hockey and girls soccer were in action. Soccer lost to Milton 3-2, and field hockey tied Dedham 3-2. And Jared Shea of the golf team competed in the D2 South Sectional Golf Championship Monday at Eastern Country Club. Tuesday, boys soccer down to Ashland 3-2 in their senior game. Jane Ryan found the back of the net twice in the win. Field hockey was on the road Wednesday to Dover Sherborne and fell 2-0. Volleyball also lost to Medfield in straight sets. And the cross-country teams competed in the TVL Showcase meet this past Wednesday. Congratulations to Olivia Bodette, who placed 4th overall.
Rounding out the week, boys and girls soccer both lose to Medfield 2-0.
And that is it for sports this week. For those waiting anxiously to hear the results of the tournament brackets, don't worry, we are too. As soon as we know where the Mustangs fall, we will report that to you. So stay tuned to our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for updates on the MIAA tournament picture. I'll talk to you next week. Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Brian. Since the Tiffany Ballroom at the 4 Points Sheraton in Norwood has been home to weddings, community events, fundraisers, and much more, in July the ballroom received a well-deserved makeover. NCM caught up with sales managers who oversee the ballroom.
Hi, my name is Jamie Delapovic. I'm one of the catering sales managers here at the Tiffany Ballroom. We're very excited about our new recently renovated ballroom renovations. We closed down for the month of July, and now we're open for upcoming events. We have a brand new ballroom carpet, we have wall treatments, new wall sconces, Really to open up things, make it nice, fresh and airy, and more modern.
Hi, I'm Mindy Keys, the Senior Catering Sales Manager here at the Tiffany Ballroom, Norwood native, and we are so excited for the new look of the Tiffany Ballroom and really can't wait to get in some of the Norwood groups that we partner with, from Friends of St. Nick to Dancing with the Stars to a lot of the different school groups that we have in, as well as all the personal celebrations that we do for the Norwood community. We're really excited to have everyone in, so give us a call today. We'd love to show you around.
The Parkway Concert Orchestra, a community orchestra based right here in Norwood, is celebrating its 75th anniversary season. The orchestra, who holds its rehearsals at the First Congregational Church, has been practicing for its upcoming concerts, which will also be held at the church.
We have a rehearsal today with our featured tenor for our concert on Sunday, November 3rd. His name is David Rivera Bozan, and we're performing a Night in Italy concert.
So we are playing classical music, like we will be performing all these popular pieces. It will be Nessun Dorma, O Sole Mio, La Donna Mobile, like all the pieces that are traditional of the tenor repertoire. We will have, of course, like instrumental music as well. We'll have a violin concerto Vivaldi, and we will have a very, very interesting program.
The Parkway Concert Orchestra was founded in 1946, and it's been going for now 75 years. This is the 75th season, and so it was active community members wanting to have an orchestra to play, and so they've been doing it for 75 years now. And some of the members of this orchestra have been here, oh gosh, more than 50 years.
I hope that everyone will consider coming out on November 3rd. It's Sunday at 3 p.m. and then to also look at the rest of our season. We've got a couple holiday concerts in December, and then we've got 2 more in the new year.
To learn more about the Parkway Concert Orchestra and their concert dates, visit parkwayconcertorchestra.org. Just a reminder to residents that the overnight on-street parking ban goes into effect on November 1st. Any car left on the street overnight will be ticketed. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.